Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to a weekly recap at Day Traders FX. This is Chris, and with me, of course, is Jared. First, you can see there's a risk disclaimer. We understand there is inherent risk in trading. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, and other information is market commentary and for educational purposes only. Now, we had a fantastic week, and we want to make sure everybody knows about it. And the first thing that came to our minds this morning, you can see Jared. Jared, go ahead and wave to everybody. The salute. So the first thing, we had a fantastic weekend, and what Jared had mentioned is the markets didn't do anything. On the larger time frames, the overall scope and significance of these movements this week, it was like non-existent. And yet we collectively had members capturing 400, 500, 600 plus pips. And really we just chewed up a lot of 40, 50 pip trades, and it was a lot of fun this week. So in that celebration, in that spirit, we wanted to play a nice little segment for everybody. But you have to do yourself a favor and replace the word men with pips. And so saying that, we're going to go ahead and boogie woogie to this song. So enjoy.
For the first time in history, it's gonna start raining men. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Feel it, everybody. Feel it.
I'm gonna go out.
Just a little bit longer. I got to soak it in.
Absolutely soaking wet. It's raining men.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so Jared, I know that you didn't have the music playing on your end, right?
I could hear it. I could hear it a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
could. Okay, I was like, so you could tell that you were totally faking that rhythm.
I was working it.
Yeah. All right. So that's part one, and then part two. This was more of the, if you're a big '80s fan, then that song is something you'd probably enjoy. But if you're more of a Broadway theater snob, so to speak, then this might be for you as well. So this is also a good one to kind of wrap up the week and today.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way.
Sing it, Gordon. All right. So that's our fun for the morning. Let's go ahead and dive into those charts.
Glorious.
All right, so let me move Jared's beautiful face. And here are the charts. So what you should be seeing here, this is the Aussie Swiss, and Jared had drawn up a beautiful rising wedge. Now, Jared, you want to go ahead and just talk about this setup? I know that you took trades on EuroCAD, Aussie Swiss, and CAD Swiss, and this is just the type of stuff you see, day in and day out, week in, week out, and they're just money trades. So you want to walk everybody through this?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so these are very just common setups. This was nothing, totally out of the ordinary. This is a kind of setup that we look at over and over again. And we just had a simple little short-term rising wedge right here. We had this on all those pairs that you mentioned. And for many of you guys that have been kind of following, my emails and videos and things that Chris and I have done in the past, you should be at least have heard of the 200 EMA indicator that I've been using for a long time. And we had a great little 200 EMA setup on the 15-minute chart, meaning basically that this pair had gone a fairly long period without touching the 200 moving average. And by fairly long period, we're looking at a 15-minute chart here. So a couple of days.
403 bars to be exact. We're still not there, but it's like we just notice anything around that, 350, 400 plus bars. I mean, we're like, all right, let's just trade it. This is going to be good. So that's what's so awesome about it.
Yeah, exactly. Just such a great little setup, and the thing the market loves to do is when it goes for those long periods of time without touching the 200 EMA, it has a really high tendency of coming back and hitting that moving average. And as long as we can couple it with a decent little setup, a little price pattern, a breakout, anything. And in this case, we had a fantastic little rising wedge. The break of that rising wedge just made for such an easy trade, such a high probability Trading is always risky. There's always risk in trades, but these are much lower risk trades because of the probability of how this setup works. And so just a really nice trade, great for some quick pips. We're just trading this right down to that 200 moving average, and this exact same setup just happened over and over and over again this week, and we just took 40 and 50 pip chunks again and again, and it was just absolutely glorious. So nice little textbook easy trade to take right here.
Definitely. That was Aussie Swiss, and CAD Swiss didn't quite set up with the same beautimousness. That's not really a word, but you can still see, again, the same reason we looked at the Aussie Swiss, the same reason we looked at the Euro CAD, the CAD Swiss. I mean, we had a nice aggressive trend line. We talked about during that CAD rate decision on Wednesday, a break of 7,500. We got it, we tested it, and it pulled back, essentially failed at the same level, 75.60, came right down to today's pivot to that 200 EMA. So again, just another 30, 40, 50 pip opportunity, really straightforward, and we're breaking further to the downside, which is awesome. EuroCAD, I know that Jared and I did a pretty bang up job on this one as far as just loving the opportunity, and really we had this one, was it yesterday, Jared? Was it Thursday when we were live, and I told everybody, hey, I'm in right now at like 44.30, 44.40, and as we discussed the trade, it ran up like 40 to 50 pips, during our live session, and what's even better is it still gave a buy opportunity. So we were talking earlier in the week about an aggressive trend line break in here, going sideways, kind of making a move to that 200 EMA. And there's just all sorts of good stuff in here. We wanted to possibly take a retest of this low if we got it. There's all sorts of aggressive trend lines in here that you can look at. There's just movement. Until that thing hits that 200 EMA, we're 430, 440 plus bars. It just was a perfect setup. And if you're obviously interested in learning more, contact us at Day Traders FX, and there's plenty of good stuff. But Jared and I are doing this live each and every day, and our members have had a fantastic week, and they continue to have good weeks. And I know that's always good stuff, and certainly something that everyone is looking for. So EuroCAD, really, really fantastic. We also talked about the Euro Aussie, and this is what spawned those songs for me this morning, because this was really just a flow of pips this morning. I mean, you see, we talked about a trend line break. We had a group order or a pending buy at 45.55. I wish I was perfect, but it came down to a low of 45.61. So that fill was not able to be taken, but you can see that we talked about it. Look, if we don't get filled, watch the trend line break. If you don't get filled, look for a price pattern in here. And you had both. You had a trend line break for 60, 70 pips. You had a price pattern in here for 70, 80, 90 pips. You had just off of these lows for over 100 and some pips. And not only do you have the 200 EMA, you've got a daily pivot, you've got all sorts of good stuff to trade back to, and it just worked. So you go to a larger time frame and see that this is completely insignificant, but yet on a 15-minute chart, it is beautiful. So one more that I have is the pound CAD for this week, and we had it drawn up this way. Sorry for the shuffling there, but we talked about support holding, just drawing a nice trend line. We had that 200 EMA. We also talked about a nice clean breakout, and we had a daily pivot right there. And the pound CAD, weeks we've addressed the pound CAD on a bigger time frame, 4-hour charts. We're looking for signs and clues for the bigger move, and we'd like to see some massive sterling / pound recovery sometime this year in the next month or two. I know that Jared's watching the pound dollar really closely, and but again, those bigger time frames are going to take more time to set up, and this is just a really straightforward trade. There's your breakout. There's a nice little run up to that daily pivot. We're talking 110 pips. No big deal. So, Jared, can you see my screen when I'm bringing this up? I've got the trade alerts.
Yep. Everything's coming through clear.
Perfect. So, do you want to run them through this to kind of give them the total recap, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Yes. So it's coming through a little bit small on my end, but I will.
You'll squint.
I'll squint. I'm just really close to the screen here. So this is what happens when you turn my age, which is mid-30s. Things are going. My eyesight, I can't really hear anything, but What?
Testing.
Testing. So we had a very fantastic week. This is our spreadsheet. These are our trades that we have called for the group. What we try to do in the group is call very specific trades as often as possible. If there's a very specific pending order, just like you said a couple minutes ago, Chris, if there's a very specific pending order, we just say get in at exactly 145.07.2. But when that doesn't happen, we don't always have the most specific areas. We're sometimes looking to get outside of a little short-term, even 15-minute channel. And so, as you mentioned, we talk about getting outside of that channel. But here we have charts very clearly posted. We have notes that are updated sometimes several times per day, talking about how the trade is going. One thing that I have seen pretty often as I've been going for years and years and years of trading, in the beginning, early years, I found myself, in some trade groups where I would just be chewing my fingernails like, where's the next update? We've got this trade and it's going crazy and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And am I supposed to wait for 24 hours until I hear back on what the person that is looking at this trade is thinking about doing? And so we do the exact opposite here. We update these notes several times per day. We send out, mobile trade alerts, mobile updates, and including we do, live sessions every single day. And we talk about what these setups are and how they're working out. And so we had some very nice little setups here. As you can see, some of these trades will say, protected at 50 pips, but ran, 250 pips, for example, or 200 pips or thereabouts. And that's because, we've moved our stops up to, 30, 40, 50 pips in profit. And the trade has continued to run all the way to our profit target. Or sometimes we don't have a profit target and the trade just runs and runs and we, have a manual closeout after we see some topping out or bottoming out of a short-term chart. So we had a lot of those happen this week where we just protected some good profits. Some pulled back and took us out at those protected areas, which was still excellent profit, and some ran quite a bit further, which was great as well. And so overall, just a very nice week. We keep our charts updated. We keep the notes very updated, and everybody knows literally, hour by hour basis exactly what we're doing, and has very clear instructions on how to participate in these fantastic movements.
Okay, so just a final recap from my end. We had a fantastic week. From Jared's end, as I bring him back in the screen. Fun week.
Hello.
Yep.
Very, very good week for all of us. I know you had some fantastic trades and pips, Chris, and I did as well. And the group members just had a real nice time. Real nice time.
It was real nice, Clark.
Real nice.
Yeah. So everybody that's listening, check us out, Day Traders FX, and we will see you in the chat room. Come join us for a Monday webinar. See what we do during the week. But we are very active. Jared and I are both getting some tremendous bags under our eyes because of all the crazy hours that we keep to maintain this stuff. But we are here to monitor a 24/7 market and make sure that we come out net profitable, just like everybody else.
Absolutely. Have a little peek in the link down below. You can stop by the website and get a free trial to the trade group and just kind of see how we do all of this. And we'd love to have you stop by. There's definitely no pressure, no obligation. Just stop by, have a little test drive of the trade group, see what you think. And we always love to have new members of the community.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care, guys.